Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wealthapreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Ashish Sakal.
And I'm your host, Sagat Pradhan. Today, we have another guest in our podcast. His name is Vick from Ohio, right, bro?
Yeah, Ohio.
So he's an entrepreneur, also big in the sneakers industry, and has a biggest one of the biggest sneaker group in the Discord. And not only that, he's also expanding to the other nations. So he's running this on many different countries: United States, Europe, Canada, and even Pacific nations. So yeah, Vic. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself and what you're doing right now? And
Yeah, awesome. So first of all, thanks guys for having me. My name is Vic. Like Soga said, I do kind of run the biggest reselling service in the US, and I've recently expanded to Asia, India, Korea, and we're also in Europe, UK. So a bit about myself. I'm from Florida, so I went to school there, went to college there, and I got my degree in management. And I was looking to do a desk job coming out of college. Working at a corporate firm, or my specialty was sports management. So I wanted to do kind of finances, that kind of stuff for a sports team. So I did my internship at a gym, all this sort of stuff. I did a bunch of personal training stuff, and I was like after the pandemic kind of happened, I graduated a few years back. I was like, I don't know if this is for me. So then I was like checking out side hustles like every person does trying to make some money, and I got really into sneaker reselling, specifically drop shipping. Which essentially is, the selling of a third-party good in a third-party website, shoes specifically. So, I kind of picked it up, started working with a guy, and, we got a really good business going. We were making, 50 to 60 sales a day on eBay and this kind of stuff. And, it came to my mind, I was like, we should, teach people how to do this kind of stuff, right? So we, kind of founded a service, Elite Bricks, which is the name of my brand. And our whole mission is kind of just teaching people how to make money reselling sneakers, I guess.
yeah,
That's awesome.
That's really great what you're doing right now, because I'm also part of your group. You
Yeah.
guys provide really good value in that group. And I really enjoyed when I was doing sneaker reselling before I got into real estate. I was
Yeah.
really into sneakers, and I used all the values that you could provide in the group. So Vic, like some people that is listening to our podcast doesn't really know how the sneakers industry work. Can you explain that to a little bit for them?
Yeah. So there is so much potential in the sneaker reselling industry. It's said to be a $25 billion industry by the time 2025 comes around. So, there always are big margins, and, people are always trying to, make the max amount of bread. Someone's like, what's the next best side hustle? What's the next best side hustle? And my answer always is sneakers, because, it's a tangible good. You think about other kind of side hustles out there, real estate obviously is, you need a lot of money to get into real estate. But the thing is, with sneakers, you got low budget stuff, quick flips, and, you make your profit back fast. So, what my service aims to do and kind of how the reselling works itself is you either go on online or in store, or, a bit of both. And you look for options that sit there. We focus mostly on manual stuff. So, sneaker botting is way different. So we can use programs to buy sneakers. It isn't automated or manual. What we do is, we aim to kind of make stuff manual. So, hey, I open up Nike.com. I find this shoe sitting there for $100. That shoe, when you check out, on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, GOAT, StockX, traditional selling platforms, that shoe selling for $150, $160. And people might be like, well, why? I mean, it's sitting in stores. Why is it reselling for more? Two reasons, right? A, people experience scarcity of the shoe. They aren't aware the shoe is sitting there. They don't know where to find the shoe. So it sells for more. And B, demand, right? They want that shoe. They want it now. They don't want to go driving 20 miles in the other direction to go buy the shoe. They want to go pick it up. They want to order it today and get it sent to the door. So that's essentially how the concept of reselling works. And it works from, your Jordan 1s, your Nike Dunks, all the way to, your soccer cleats, your golf shoes, your women's Air Max 90s. So almost every single shoe can resell. There's an established market and there's enough demand for it.
Yeah. So most resellers, like sneaker resellers, they really focus on like hyped kind of sneakers, but you running that group, you guys kind of focus on the sneakers that are sitting in the store, sitting online for like lower price range, and then flip that for higher price range in eBay and other platforms, right?
Yeah, exactly. So most resellers just look for their Jordan 1s and their Dunks and that kind of stuff. And, maybe 3 years ago that was possible, but nowadays, every single thing is raffle based. So people are like, hey, I want to become a reseller full time, but they're only looking for Dunks, only looking for Jordan 1s. It's not possible. There isn't enough supply, and there isn't kind of a sustainable way get more than one pair to go, even if you win a raffle, like you win 2 raffles, you sell each pair for $100 profit. That's the best you can do, So what I do is I teach people how to kind of, focus on these bricks. And obviously Soga was, a member with us, and he kind of experienced it himself of how to focus on, less hype shoes, things people generally overlook. And then, kind of, knowing where to sell it is just as important as buying it. Right. So we kind of provide the bricks, the low-key stuff, and then also tell them how do you sell your bricks for the max amount of profit, and scale from there.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So how do you focus on the marketing strategy? Because as a reseller, you have to focus on that part of aspect as well. Because obviously any business you do in this, in entrepreneurship industry, it's hard, right? So what do you teach? What kind of education do you provide for sneaker resellers?
Okay, to kind of market their like shoes and be able to make the sales.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. Right. So, one thing we kind of teach in the group, and, to kind of just be very general about it is, diversifying, right? Because think about it like a net, you're fishing. I always give this analogy, the bigger net you cast, the more fish you'll catch, right? So the same thing is with, a sneaker. And when you're listing it, when you're, if, you want to sell a pair of sneakers intuitively, if you list it in one place, you're going to get less traffic than you listed in, 5 places, right? So we kind of teach people, hey, where do you sell your sneakers? It isn't just come down to, StockX and eBay. There's 27 different selling platforms. You go all the way from OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Vinted, Snapchat, even you sell your stuff on there, locally, stores. So there's a lot of different options. And it really comes down to, what fits the person's preference the most. If they want to make it passive, maybe they go to Amazon or Flight Club. If they want quick flips for cash, they'll go Snapchat and local. If they want to, get, medium-term stuff with high sales volume, they'll go to StockX and Go. So there's a bunch of different strategies. And, my kind of job is to determine, hey, which strategy is best for you, which strategy kind of fits your financial goals, your financial situation, because someone with $500 reselling sneakers is not going to have the same kind of, expectations someone with, $5,000, right? Whether in terms of weighting or in terms of profit. So it's all about calibrating, finding the right thing for the right student. And it isn't just cookie cutter, not every single student is the same. Obviously, not every single person who wants to resell sneakers is the same. My job is to give them all the tools they need and, the personalized level of attention and detail to make them find the best strategy for marketing their shoe, I guess.
That's awesome. So it's pretty much like, it's like real estate, because in real estate, you can pretty much diverse into other diversification and really, get the nits and grits of doing the job. So it's like same as, marketing as wise. It's like looking for different strategy in the sneaker field as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how real estate works in terms of marketing, but I can imagine, it's about getting your property out there, showing as many people you want to see it, whether it's an open house or email marketing or just paper marketing. So, the same kind of premise is omnipresent in reselling or just selling itself. And, it's about making your item look good. And like, obviously, Soga, does real estate, when you're showing a listing, I always say it's comparative to, selling a shoe, because it never is just the product, it's the experience. If you have if let's say you have a real estate agent who goes in and, doesn't know anything about the property and the property is amazing, that buyer is not impressed. It's not like it. Versus, you have the same product with a really good realtor who explains it super well. That thing is going to have such higher perceived value than the same product with a bad realtor. And the same thing applies with shoes. How you sell it, your experience, your customer service, your packaging, not to the same scale as a house, but it's comparative,
Definitely.
And also the appearance of the product you're selling also matters a lot, because I know that you used to teach in the Discord group that taking a good picture, taking from a good angle, and having good lighting and stuff will make it really attracting for buyers to buy your product rather than buying your competitor's product. And I think it relates to real estate too. Like if you were to list a house, like $1 million house with a shitty camera, and just list like a bad quality photo, that's not gonna attract any buyers, right? But if you
no, I was gonna say, I always say, quality photos, quality listings, and good lighting, and I'm out here seeing like absolute like shit tier lighting right now. But it is important, right? When you're selling stuff, it has to look good. And not to give too much away from what we do, but you don't even need to have the lowest price sometimes to sell the shoe first, as long as you have quality, a quality depiction of what you're selling, right? Why do people spend tens of thousands on staging a house correctly, spending money on quality cameras, actual photography instruments, because that kind of stuff makes your stuff look better. So when you take a good picture of a shoe, it goes a long way, and sometimes can justify charging a higher price than a competitor who has less good photos.
That's totally a key aspect of business, because any business you do in life, definitely it requires a lot of marketing, first of all, and second of all, how you present that to the consumers.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And that's kind of my background, right? The reason why Elite Bricks is kind of the biggest service in the world, to be honest, with sneaker reselling is because, not only do we have a good product that actually gets results, but we market it correctly, right? And that's with any single thing you do, whether it's
Yeah.
real estate, shoes, cars, whatever you do. If you
yeah.
can market your results and your success and your quality, your quality doesn't matter. So to be truly successful, you need to have both the quality product, which Elite Bricks provides, and also having good marketing skills to relay the value you provide, which we also do.
Wow. Yeah. So I have a question for you. So what's your in the future endeavors, like what is your goals and aspirations or ambition that you have for your sneaker business? Because you mentioned that you diverse into India and other continents. So what is your
Yeah,
goal? Yeah.
yeah. So we're operating pretty high right now in America. We have a really big reach. We're at Elite Bricks on Instagram. It's we have a decent amount of followers if you guys haven't seen it yet. But
Okay.
we have kind of getting close to the top of the market here. We do kind of run it. There isn't really any competition for us because what we do is pretty proprietary.
Mhm.
Our big thing is coaching. There's a bunch of different services out there that kind of like teach you how to resell sneakers, but no one coaches. I mean, so good. You're a personal student of that with the
Yeah.
coaching, experiencing that kind of stuff hand in hand, and coaching requires industry experts to teach you. And, whether it's me or one of my staff members, we've been in this for a while. I guess my eventual goal is expanding even further. There's always resellers popping up, and, I want to show them the value that we can have and, expand my service there.
Mm.
In terms of growth, right? The US is advanced in sneaker reselling.
Uh-huh.
Asia, South America, Europe, UK, lagging a bit behind. So what I've done is I've officially been the first sneaker brand to establish, or the sneaker reselling service to establish myself in Asia. We call it
Wow.
Elite Bricks specific. So we're in India, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, and those are our four main regions. We're going into Korea, and eventually we'll go into like Pakistan, that kind of area. Hopefully Nepal sometime soon.
Definitely, man.
Eventually go there as well.
Hit us up. Hit
But
us up.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's about it's a lot. It isn't as advanced. The US is like I'd say 5 or 10 years behind. I'd say where the US was in 2017 is kind of where India is right now, and
Mhm.
everything else is even further behind that. So we're kind of first in the door. We're growing rapidly there because there's kind of a massively underlies or under tapped in kind of niche there, and that's something that's omnipresent in business is going where a service is needed
Mhm.
and filling that service gap with your product, your service, your skill set, and that's kind of how you are successful as an entrepreneur, in my opinion.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So Vic, I know that you have like a staff member for like all the other countries. How do you manage them from like I know that you guys have same
Wow.
group for like Europe and Canada and US that I'm
Yeah.
in. How do you manage the other group like in the India region and the other places? How do you manage them, your staff members there?
So, one thing that I guess asked a lot is, how do I manage, almost 1,000 members globally? Because, I run a server just as big as my US type servers in a 12-hour time zone difference, because
Yeah.
I obviously can't be up at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. working, 4 or 5 hours ago. And, I work a lot. I do like, I'd say, I sleep like 5 to 7 hours a night sometimes, right? And sometimes like I don't sleep, but you got to put the work in when you have to do it.
Right.
But it does come down to establishing a good network, and having your number two and your number three have to be people who you can rely on. If you don't have a good network, and this thing I've learned,
Hmm.
I always was like, I want to do it by myself. I want to do it by myself. And you are, if it's your business, you're always gonna do the best job, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to make that sale.
And
No one wants to.
also, I just want to add something there. Like, as a business owner, like I heard Mark Cuban say this,
Yeah.
like you'll never lie to yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but if from another narrative, when someone looks at you, like there's a lot of things that you're doing wrong. But keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And I can always say, and that's the thing, right? I like this saying, and I'll, when you're at the top, not to sound pretentious, but when you are doing the best in something, you're always gonna have
Yeah.
haters, right? People are like, you do
Mhm,
this thing different.
mhm.
One thing I don't know who said this, but I've seen this, and this is the thing one of my like things I hold very dearly to myself. People that criticize you are only people who are doing less or they're jealous.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Uh,
right.
and you'll never see, if we went to Mark Cuban, he'll never say, "Oh, you're doing a trash job." He'd be like, "Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Why don't you try
Yeah,
that?"
definitely.
It's constructive for people who are
Definitely.
successful. So that's why I take feedback seriously. My staff team is like, hey, do this. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. You're right. They're never like, that's a horrible idea. You need to have a network of people you train, and, training only comes with knowledge. So, you can say, yeah, I want you to do this for me. I want you to do that for me. But if they don't have the skill set because you haven't taught them correctly, it's never going to work out. So it is kind of just, teaching that information that you have, having trust, building that relationship. And, it takes time. Like, I can't just
Definitely.
say, yo, I'll pay you $1,000, run my server for me. No, like, it doesn't work like that. You need to like get that relationship, cultivate it. It takes months, could take years. Like my number two, like I've known him for like, I'd say 8 or 9 months, and it took 3-4 months of getting him prepped. And now he's doing a great job. Same thing with my number 3, my number
Awesome.
4, whatever that kind of thing is. But
Wow.
it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes, good management skills, because
Yeah.
paying someone a lot of money doesn't mean they'll do a good job. They have
Right.
to like what they're doing, and they have to have respect for you, which is something you can't pay for.
Yeah. So as you started your entrepreneurship journey in this sneaker industry, right? Obviously, entrepreneurship is not an easy task to do, or like really, get a team of people together. And that's what it is at the end of the day, because entrepreneurs solve problem.
Right.
But your journey in the entrepreneurship industry, how was it in the beginning? Because it's hard, right? So do you want to
It
talk
is.
about that?
Yeah. So now that the fact that, looking back, I think that most entrepreneurs fail to account for the fact that you're going to have failure and hardship before you're going to have success.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of work to kind of get to the level where you're satisfied, and
Mhm.
it's going to take more work to stay at that level. So, I don't like speaking too highly of myself, and I don't speak highly of my business because I don't want to, sound pretentious. But I will say, looking back, I think it's expected for any entrepreneur that they're going to have, the founder, the owner is going to have to put more hours in than anyone else. They're going to have to work their butts off to get where they need to be. And they may not see immediate success in the beginning, but if they have a good idea and they have a good business plan and good execution, that
Mhm.
eventually they will kind of, experience success to the level they want to, if they continually keep grinding.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, that's like, I think one of the biggest part of being an entrepreneur is like you have to grind, and there's like no easy way out. Like 'cause a lot of people think that, people that are not in the entrepreneur field or in the business field, they think that it's an easy task for us, and it seems pretty easy. But once they get into this field, then they'll feel it. They'll truly understand how it is, right? Um,
Yeah, and people always think, there's like this mindset like, yo, I'm gonna get into NFTs and make 20,000 in a day, or I'm getting the
Right.
sneakers and I want to make 5,000. I want to sell shoes that have $200 profit. I'm like, that is the issue, and kind of like my stance in current entrepreneurship is that the way social media depicts it is that it's kind of a get rich quick kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some
I
people
like that.
fail because they're like, why am I not earning $10,000 my first month? Why am I not earning $5,000? Like, it's a process. It's a marathon. It isn't a sprint.
Definitely. It's
Yeah.
trials and errors, right? Like, like
Yeah.
so about that big too. Like TikTok is a great like affluence of, trying new things, right? But when it comes to like really putting the work in, it's like then at first they're gonna be like, oh, I can make 10K, easy, boom. And then they actually start doing it. It's like, oh, this is what I need to do. That and then they see the reality, which is nuts.
Yeah. And I mean, myself, like I've learned stuff, like I've tried different marketing campaigns, I've tried different, ways to, hit different marketing streams, and like some stuff works. And like I spend a lot of money, like on my marketing stuff. The thing is, it's
Definitely.
all about thinking ahead, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thinking outside the box and having a good mind, because, there's people in my industry who try to like rip off what I'm doing. And, you
Definitely.
have to always understand, if people rip off what you're doing, it's because you're doing something right. And,
Mhm.
whether you have a skill set as a realtor or a skill set as a sneaker reseller, they can copy your scripts, they can copy your photos, whatever they want to do, but no one can really copy your level of skill and your level of experience and knowledge about a certain subject.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people think that, you can do something new and then make money overnight, but that's not the truth, because I know
Yeah.
with your group, you probably started from a small number of members and then you expanded like over time. It took you a while to build that, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like something you can build overnight, right? So
Yeah, no,
that's like
that's
that's the same thing with any other business if you want to get into it.
yeah, and
Just not sneakers, it's not real estate.
it's with everything, right? It's a process. And you need to know what you're doing, right? You can't have high aspirations and not be an absolute expert. Like I am unironically, and not to sound like arrogant, but I'm probably one of the best at sneakers in the US. Like I know like SKUs the top of my head. I know like price top of my head. Like if I didn't, I couldn't do what I'm doing. Right. And
Yeah.
that's like what I need
Yeah.
I have that expectation of myself, and like not because I want to, but because I have to.
You have to be
And if
the
I don't
best,
have
right?
that, yeah.
Yeah,
And if I don't,
I think you are, man. Because the amount of effort you put into like coaching your members, I was part of
yeah,
that too.
no, like Soga knows, like, reselling is a huge come up. And I think Soga, you like did it fairly well for yourself, and,
Yeah,
he put the effort in, right? Which is
Yeah,
why, he
definitely.
made money, right? So,
Yeah,
with anything, like the thing is what Leadbricks does is, something that no other service can do, because we get paired with industry experts. We over deliver. And that's my number one thing, is over delivery, whether you're whatever hustle you're in, whether it's, flipping houses, flipping shoes, flipping cars, flipping textbooks, right? Over
definitely.
deliver. And when you over deliver to your members, your customers, that's how you develop repeat customers, which are the most profitable kind of customers, because it costs the least amount of ROI and funds to get them to be a purchaser a second time point,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah. Like one other question that I have for you is like, so in the future endeavors, like what is your goal for the sneaker industry? Like, right. So for yourself, like, or for your company vision, right? So what do you want to do and how you want to scale that?
Yeah, I want to be global. We already are kind of global, but I want to, um, help kind of bridge the gap from people where they want to be, and, side hustle. I do shoes. I also kind of do clothing on the side.
Okay.
I kind of help run a lot of clothing stuff, clothing flips. So if anyone wants to, like, learn how to flip clothing, flip shoes, flip anything through Amazon, eBay, I want to, be that kind of, hey, I don't want to do shoes, I want to do clothing, or I don't want to do shoes and clothing, I want to do, like textbooks, like eventually expanding the brand,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
refining it. And, it's kind of, it's not something I've really thought about, in a great detail, because I'm definitely not on the top of my game yet. So, I don't want to, preemptively expand, but, I guess keep on refining what I'm doing, keep going up, and, letting the quality speak for itself. Because, like I said, in my industry, there is a lot of, people who try to do what you're doing, like trying to copy what you're doing. And that's with everything. If you do something right, there's always people who want to do what you're doing. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, their business is a war. Who says? I think Kevin O'Leary said it. He's like,
Yeah.
business is a
Yeah.
war, and if you don't want to fight, you will fail, right? So
Definitely. Definitely.
I have competitors out there, like, well, not really competitors, but people who want to do what I'm doing. And, I just keep doing what I'm doing, and no one can keep up, because our service is, has proven results for almost like 3,000 people at this point in the last couple of years. So,
Wow.
I want to keep expanding, keep growing, and making sure like quality stays top tier, so I can remain, making people money, I guess.
Definitely. Yeah. Cause there's always someone out there who's willing to kick your ass, So,
Yeah.
and like Mark Cuban says, business is a sport, 24/7 sport. There's NBA, there's WNBA and football, but business is the ultimate sport, like he says. So definitely.
That's all.
yeah. Anyways, Vic, what advice would you give to like upcoming entrepreneurs or people that's trying to get into sneaker industry that has like little knowledge about sneakers?
Yeah. So, obviously I can give you guys the tips saying, hey, um, Elite Bricks really helps you get there. But I guess secondarily, a more bigger picture, if you aren't ready for like what we do and like how we operate, I'm sure Shoga will like obviously tag us and stuff. You guys can see how we operate, but, educating yourself, before you want to work with us or work with me, watch YouTube videos, read books, read success stories, and that kind of stuff is important. Even if you say, yo, Vic, you sounds great, man. I want to learn how to resell sneakers with you, because Swagger obviously done it. He's a example. I think there's no better example for like how it works. But, education is key, whether it's,
Mhm.
watching these vlogs, watching these YouTubers, the thing is with information nowadays, you'll see guys like, oh, I bought 80 pairs of this shoe. It's a great flip, but, it's not realistic, right? Like the average beginner is not going to hit that many pairs. It kind of gives them false expectations. So, you can jump head first, find out yourself, like watch some realistic, some honest YouTubers, and there's a lot of them out there. Not these
Yeah.
guys that flex 1,000 pairs, but education
Yeah.
is the key. Reading, watching, trying it yourself. It is a hard thing to get into. You can't really do it without the level of coaching, because it's a lot of information. And I could speak to myself when I first started a few years back. I was like, I was buying wrong shoes, I was losing money, and I was like,
Wow.
damn, like, there has to be an easier way than like getting good by just trial and error, right? And so I aim to kind of, remove the aspect of trial and error and make it a guaranteed kind of success by, building that foundation. And once your foundation is set, then you build upon the level of achieving success, And, that's essentially how any level of entrepreneurship works and should work at least.
Yeah.
That's
And one of the key things that you provide with your group is coaching. And, new people that are trying to resell sneakers, they can definitely get a lot of values from a group, right? Because you do provide a lot of coaching and a lot of guidance for new people jumping into the sneaker field. Because I know that you provide for guides for like people trying to get into drop shipping, doing Amazon FBA, things like that. You have a lot of guidance in the group and also coaching. So I think you have a really great group. I really loved it when I was in that. I'm still part of that, and it's really valuable. If any of our listeners trying to get into sneaker field, I'd really recommend you join Elite Bricks and get some value off this guy. And even if you're not trying to resell sneakers, he also helps out with reselling clothes and any other items, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also, do you want?
You go ahead.
Because I started Amazon FBA business too, so I just want to let the viewers know it's not an easy task, right? Selling on Amazon is not an easy task. There's, paper per click, all the advertisement that you have to put into it, and all that counterfeit, laws and regulation that Amazon, has. You have to know that before you actually put the product out there. Because let's say you put a Nike shoes on there, and let's say there's some kind of thing going on like that. I mean, you got to be very careful. So I just want to.
Amazon especially is tricky.
Yeah.
Putting a shoe up on StockX is nice and simple, but with Amazon,
Definitely.
your what's it called? Sales rank, your inventory lab, your price matching, using Keepa, using Aspen. Like there is such a high ceiling with Amazon and eBay that you may not experience with StockX and Goat, but the reason therefore is seen in how much more you'll make on those two platforms. And that kind of is an adage for business. The more work you'll put in, the more money you'll get back, which is why it takes more work on Amazon. And that's why you get paid more on Amazon than, a StockX sale, which is 1,000 times easier.
Definitely. Yeah. So just know that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think you got any more questions, Assis, for him?
I think that was it. Like, honestly, like I loved what you said, and you're a very inspiring entrepreneur in this industry, and I wish you best luck. And do you want to shout your social media? Do you have anything you want to give to the viewer?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, thanks guys for having me.
Definitely.
Ashish, I hope I said that right. I hope I said that right. And then Sogat, thanks for having me, guys. Really, definitely an honor for having me on here. This is like my first kind of podcast. So, I guess, hopefully more to come. So, and that being said, like I said, guys, definitely go check out their page for the podcast and that kind of stuff. They definitely doing some good stuff. In terms of my brand, at Elite Bricks, no spaces, ELITE Bricks, just, reselling sneakers, reselling clothing, Amazon, eBay, all that sort of stuff is what we do. We coach you, which is kind of an industry, that doesn't really do because they want to keep their secrets themselves, but we kind of bridge the gap and get you to scale yourself up. It is a very profitable industry. And, you can do it fully manually from your phone. You're driving to work, you buy a shoe, press the link, check it out, comes in 3 days, just sell it, right? So that's the basic premise. Like I said, I'm always looking for people to help grow. And, I want to give people what I didn't have myself, the coaching and the guidance to help them achieve success. So, that being said, once again, guys, thanks for having me. And, whatever you guys are doing, whether you're entrepreneurs, reselling sneakers, flipping houses, NFTs or cars, stay to the process, stay to the grind, find a good mentor to kind of help get you where you want to be, and then invest in that system and just ride out till you get what you want to, in terms of profits and success. And